Rishi Sunak is a bit of a crook. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You can't trust them, the Tories. They're as bent as a 9-bob note. And Rishi Sunak is not alone, no, and he's been investigated for corruption. Yes, a Parliament watchdog happens to be in The Guardian, and pretty much most of the news in the last hour, opens an investigation into Rishi Sunak. An investigation understood to be related to the Prime Minister's links to childcare. A childcare firm. Yes, corruption. Cronyism. Well, his wife is an investor of this firm. It's not the first time, is it? What about the fact that he handed over 1.5 million, I believe it was, to Rishi Sunak's missus. Oh yeah, his missus. To a firm that was heading for bankruptcy anyway, and went under for, 16 million. I don't think we'll be seeing that COVID loan money back. No. No wonder he doesn't want to investigate COVID loan fraud. He'd be investigating himself. Well, Rishi Sunak is being investigated by Parliament's Commissioner for Standards over the potential breach of rules relating to the declaration of interests. Understood to be related to his links to a childcare firm in which his wife is an investor. I don't sound that bad. It's his wife's business, isn't it? Of course it is. He's only dipping in that swimming pool that was paid for with his wife's businesses. Yeah. Wife's businesses are, her shares for instance, with Emphasis, who's still operating in Russia, allegedly. Pretty much paid for his new swimming pool. And have the infrastructure altered so he can get enough electricity to heat it. Yeah. Well, the Commissioner, Daniel Greenberg, opened an investigation into the Prime Minister last Thursday. An update on the Commissioner's website said the entry says only that it relates to a paragraph 6 of the updated Code of Conduct for MPs. Well, the Code of Conduct is, it's a bit more obvious, a bit more, it's a bit harder to weasel your way out of it, to be honest. And it states that you must always be open and frank in declaring any relevant interest in any proceeding of the House or its committees. Well, Sunak's wife, Akshatamurti, is listed as a shareholder in Coro Kids. It gets worse than this, I'll tell you. Which is among 6 private childcare providers likely to benefit from a pilot scheme proposed in the last month's budget to incentivise people to become childminders. Well, with £1,200 offered to those who train through the agency. Well, on the 28th of March, Sunak did not mention his wife's interest when speaking about childcare changes before the liaison committee. Now, he was asked by the Labour MP Catherine McKinnell whether he had anything to declare. She obviously knew. No, all my disclosures are declared in a normal way, he told McKinnell. It later emerged that the bosses from the company, Coro Childcare, attended a Downing Street reception just hours after Sunak's committee appearance. How blatant is that? Well, and he did not list his wife's shareholding in his register of interest as an MP. No, which MPs are required to update promptly. The Downing Street has argued that this is not necessary because Sunak cited it on a separate register of ministerial interest. It is actually a requirement. There are separate issues. Because Sunak decided on a separate register of ministerial interest. This, however, has not yet been published, as it's been, still being compiled by the new advisor on ministerial interest, Laurie Magnus. It gets from bad to worse, don't it? We know what went on with Alexander Boris de Fairfield Johnson. We actually know the crap that Rishi Sunak's been involved in and his wife is involved in. And yet we allow it to go on. Wake up, people. We need a revolt. Or something. It just ain't right. And there we are, all up in arms because of food flipping posters and marketing campaigns that Labour's put out, which I think is genius in many ways. A lot of people disagree, but it's like, it's a typical kind of merry-go-round effect. What you do is you shove out that nasty bit of not propaganda in this case, I think it's probably true, an attack ad. Everyone's in shock and arms. Now you're looking at Labour, and then maybe a few lame ones could go out, flicking that merry-go-round around because it's just been started by the original ad. And then all of a sudden it starts slowing down. So what they do, all of a sudden another attack ad goes out, and the whole thing starts again. It keeps them in the press, you see, keep people listening. You know, what's that all added? No advertising's bad advertising. I kind of disagree with that in some ways. It can be pretty bad, but you know, that's what they say. So anyway, what do you reckon? Please leave it in the comments down below. Did you always know that Rishi Sunak wasn't squeaky clean? Because he isn't, you know. No. The man's a crook. Allegedly. Oh well, it's time for me to go, so it's like to tell you now, and all my dogs are going crazy. I'm going to run up the garden, look. Because the car's come past. Oh, it's slowed down. Oh dear, how dare it. Okay, ta-ta.